Hey everyone, number 35 on my list of 100 greatest songs of all time is Juicy by the Notorious B.I.G, Biggie Smalls, Biggie, all of those monikers. Um, uh, I, you know, it's got to be said at the start of this that every time I see a picture of Biggie, there's Sean Combs, P. Diddy, Puffy Daddy, Puff, um, right beside him in his videos. And I'm very glad that connection or that, combination didn't mar what Biggie Smalls was doing. And there's too much greatness in his work. And whether, I really hope that nothing comes out, to be honest with you. I really hope it doesn't. But we're just going to say for now that when I was growing up, I saw Biggie and I saw Puff Daddy, I think he was at the time, Puff Daddy, together. It was an exciting combination. I mean, there was one very talented one, and then there was another guy. And I think we know who the talented one was. I could have picked Notorious. It's a great song, Notorious. I could have picked Big Papa. But I picked Juicy because I like the idea of what he's saying in the song about the rags to riches theme. And although his mother would suggest otherwise, and she has done in documentaries since, that he wasn't quite as poor as he made out to be. There is a line in this the song where he says, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, when I was dead broke man, I couldn't picture this. And his mom did come out and say, well, you did have the consoles, whatever consoles were you wanted, you had them. So there's a little bit of that, but that's poetic license, isn't it? I don't think he's doing too much harm by it. It starts off quite kind of somber, just a little tips on the hi-hat. And he says, yeah, this album is dedicated to all the teachers that told me I'd never amount to nothing, to all the people that lived above the building that I was hustling in front of, because if you didn't know, he used to sell drugs before he became famous. Called the police on me when I was just trying to make some money to feed my daughter, and all the N-word in the struggle. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. It's one of the great that, and he speaks that like kind of like an MC, but then when he gets into rap mode, it's one of the greatest opening verses in rap music. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine, hanging pictures on my wall every Saturday, Rap Attack, Mr. Magic, Marley Marl. I let my tape rock till my tape popped, smoking weed in bamboo, sipping on private stock way back when I was the red and black lumberjack with the hat to match. Remember rapping Duke, do, you never thought that hip hop would take it this far. Now I'm in the limelight because I rhyme tight. Time to get paid, blow up like the world trade. That was in reference to, obviously this came on in 94, that was in reference to the bombing in 93. Born sinner, the opposite of a winner. Remember when I used to eat sardines for dinner? Peace to Ron G, Brucey B, Kid Capri, Funkmaster Flex, Lovebug Starsky. I'm blowing up like you thought it would. Call the crib, same number, same hood. It's all good. And if you don't know, now you know. N-word. And then the vocals come in. You know very well who you are. Don't let him hold you down. Reach for the stars. You had a goal, but not that many, because you're the only one. I'll give you good and plenty. There is actually a lovely vocal in this. I think it was done, or it was supposedly, or it was meant to be done by one of his label mates, Total, but I'm not sure if it was actually, and I should have checked it before I started recording this, but like it's not the most important part of it. He had a short life, and it was taken sadly, and because it was taken in the kind of Biggie versus Tupac idea of, there was a killing and then there was a retribution killing. They are tied in together, and they tend to be of the argument of who was better, Tupac or Biggie. And I've talked about this before with my friend Josh, who really likes rap music, and we talked about, Tupac, possibly the more cultured man, if that's that's not a slight on anybody, by the way. That's just the way he was he was an actor, and he went to acting school, and he appeared to be well read, and his parents, his dad was in the Black Panthers, and there was a lot of lore behind him, whereas Biggie kind of came from a different place, kind of not from nowhere, but not with that background at least. But I kind of like the swagger of Biggie, and I do like the kind of depth of Tupac. And that's not to say that they don't cross over, like that Tupac doesn't have swagger, or that Biggie's not, doesn't have any depth. But I think in the more, someone like this, or Big Papa, or Notorious, there's something kind of more playful about it, and I do like that. And he did come from like dealing drugs and stuff, and he didn't come from a rich background, but his mother said he wasn't quite as poor as he was making out. But I do like the rise to fame idea. And um he says, and let me go back to that line, sorry. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, when I was dead broke, man, I couldn't picture this. 50-inch screen, money green leather sofa, got 2 rides, a limousine with a chauffeur. Phone bill about 2G's flat, no need to worry, my accountant handles that. And my whole crew is lounging, celebrating every day, no more public housing. Thinking back on my one-room shack, now my mom pimps an AC with minks on her back. And she loves to show me off, of course, smiles every time my face is up in the source. We used to fuss when the landlord dissed us, no heat, wonder why Christmas missed us. Birthdays was the worst days, now we sip champagne when we thirsty. Damn right, I live. I like the life I live, because I went from negative to positive, and it's all good. And if you know, you know. And that's, kind of, he starts mentioning people who he bigs up and who he gets on with, and his label mates and stuff like that. But it does go from like the depth of his idea, I suppose, of what this poverty was like. And who am I to, or who's anybody to suggest that it wasn't, apart from his mother? She can obviously say it, but it goes from that, the rise into to the life he leads, or he led at that point when he did become a rapper. And he probably had no other options at the time than to become that rapper. And if he wasn't discovered, or if he wasn't put forward and to record music and to write his music, like, who knows where he would have ended up. But like, that's the sad tale of it. It's like, and if he's out there dealing drugs, there's going to be somebody above him, and he could have possibly been killed young anyway. So even where he got to where he wanted to be, there still wasn't peace. And he had all he needed, but like, at the end of the day, it still came down to a battle, or a beef that was definitely blown out of proportion. If you listen to some of the stuff about Biggie and Tupac, the stuff that was blown out of proportion was unbelievable. And it was normally the guys in the background, the little lads who hid behind the bigger dudes and kind of shouted insults until somebody got killed. And it was never those people. It was always the people, out front, who they were hiding behind, were the ones that got killed. So it's a shame for everybody that we didn't get to hear more of what he could have done. Like anybody could down the prime. And the same goes for Tupac. We could have heard more of his music, and we could have seen him more on screen, and that would have been cool. But yeah, that's to say, even me bringing up Tupac, and this is like, they're so intertwined that they come together, like Blur and Oasis, But yeah, Juicy by the Notorious B.I.G. Cheers.